want to talk about your podcast titled "Be Gentle with Your Mental." I love that title because we talk like a lot about gratitude, and I think that comes with grace. And I just want to know like what that means to you, and then also just like for your work as well. In a space where I think like maybe we don't always allot ourselves a lot of grace, in a world that I think is like doing. So I'd love to just hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, honestly, during the pandemic, I really had a lot of conversations. I do work in the nonprofit, in the community based, and I was like, where's the positivity at? Like, we cannot lose our hope. We cannot lose this our divine energy, right? Our ancestors fought too long for this. Like, we have to still embody our well-being. And so I was actually on a fast, and I had a download. I was actually in my mom's house, and God asked me, he's like, are you being gentle with your mental? It's like, whoa, like that's it. That's the question I'm going to begin with. I'm going to start asking my friends. Actually, shout out to my best friend. We started our conversations on IG Live, and I would just ask them, like, are you being gentle with your mental? How's your creative process in the pandemic? A lot of people had to switch it up, right? A lot of people lost their jobs, lost family members. There was a lot of loss. And so we have to kind of come back, right, as this session is even called Reflect and Rest. How are you reflecting? How are you checking in with your mindset every day? For me, that's a daily check-in for myself. Like, are we growing? Are we fixated on yesterday? Are we present? And so also for the clients that I work around with, it's really also seeing how the collective of their organization, their body, how they are responding to each other. And just also just giving each other grace for the work that's being done. I think it takes a lot to be doing community work, if anybody does know. It's not easy. It's not just something that like is for post. It's really actually lives that we're working to change, to also not just the lives but the legacy. It's for the families that we work around with, for them to also see, to become the narrative, to change it. And so I'm really happy that it takes time, and we know that it's not going to be like overnight, but at least we're starting somewhere. Yeah.
Oh no, no, because we have to start from somewhere, and I had to come to like, I think some grace with myself and being very gentle with my mental is like, okay, you have like amazing, great expectations of like everything like you want to execute and stuff, but you have to allow things to be and like to be nurtured and to just start and to grow. And I think sometimes like we forget that like our soul is sort of like that, and a lot of inclinations and still as like adults. We can be kind of starting over in a sense, especially like when you talk about shadow work. Which I would love to segue into, because like I know it's an uncomfortable topic, but it's like it's very real, and I'm just wondering, like, as a leader in healing and activism, like, how do you kind of like balance your shadow work and kind of like those maybe like more darker periods with also still kind of like I think being like a beacon for like healing and uplifting in the community?
I think it's all about being able to know when it's time to take a rest. Like being okay, saying, okay, like I have to switch it up. Like I'm mentally not well. I can't be well for others in this moment. Or even also like just saying that though, right? I think I was really afraid with coming up from a large family. Sometimes I wasn't heard, right? I wasn't valued. And so I had to have my own equanimity and also find myself to say, okay, even as a leader in the community, I also have to be like, some moments I can't be there. I can't be at every protest. I can't be at every council meeting because I actually have to protect my own energy or I'm going to lose it. And I don't want no one to ever have that type of power on me. I really, really actually value my voice and I value my energy. So I'm like, I'm not going to place myself in a position where I'm unbalanced and then I'm reacting in a negative way because I'm not literally checking in my mindset. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm saying things I don't mean. And that's never fair to anyone. I always want to come in with intentional and do the work to be the best version of my own self, and to always bring that. And so I think when it comes to balance is really understanding those moments when you need to unplug, and also letting people know, like, hey, I actually just can't be there right now. Like, you know, and like, thank you for thinking of me, but right now there's so much going on. Let's reconnect some other time. So it's also honoring yourself in that moment. And I think a lot of us, especially even in the Black culture, we have to do that for ourselves, right? We really have to honor ourselves and for the work that we're doing, and knowing that it's not a rush process. This is not a sprint, right? Take your time. There's phases. There's time for everything. It's going to come to, but how do you know justice, right, for yourself? How do you know peace for yourself, so that we can also discover it as a community together?